Hi guys, it's Squirrel. So we're going to have another look inside Nook. And this week I want to add my second kit bag. So the previous clip that I showed before was my kit bag one, which is called Skippy. This one is called Bertha. I told you that I've got weird names. So Bertha is my another kit bag I take every day with me, so along with Skippy. Majority of Bertha is made up of cleaning products, as well as some sprays that are used for dirty downs and all those things. So I'll do a quick little pull out and show you all the items as I go. So the first item I've got in Bertha is this box here, which is full of wall hooks. So these are quite handy to have on your person, because sometimes we might have additional photos that need to be put on the wall. So I'll just show you what's inside. So as you can see, it's a little bit messy, but you've got things like wall hooks like these. You've also got the Velcro command strips, and then you've got these sort of felt, these felt stickies that you can put onto the bottom of tables and chairs so you don't scratch floors, because sometimes we might bring in furniture and if it looks like it's a really nice wooden floor or something like that, we want to try and protect it as much as we can. So that's kind of what those have in there. You've also got some super glue and yeah, just different sizes of wall hooks, as well as the Velcro command strips. So that's in that box. One thing very helpful is a chamois cloth. This is good for cleaning cars pretty much, but also just drying them. So if it starts to rain and we don't want the car to be wet, we'll use this item there to help keep it dry. We've got our chucks, good old chucks. Again, this is all about cleaning. So I'll just slowly pull things out. So I've got stuff like WD-40 for all those squeaky door hinges and silly swirly chairs that might squeak. We're a massive friend to the sound department with that one. Bin bags. I've got a little shower cap to protect anything that's like electrical that I might need to protect. I've made them a bit smaller, but I've miniaturized my cleaning products by having little travel ones, because sometimes it just takes up too much space. So I've got things like, I've got my little Windex, I've got my little spray and wipe, got my dissolvent or the goo remover, which is very good for getting rid of stickers. I've got a little hand sani, because you never know what you're going to touch. Again, we're going with never knows. Nail polish remover, but this one's got acetone in it because it's quite handy to remove logos and like pen marks. And then you've also got isopropyl, which is really good for removing things like Sharpie, because that can get really hard. So any black text or stuff. So those that side. I've got these tapes here, which are called D3, and it's actually a really good advice that I got from a costume girl. And these tapes are really helpful to cover logos on fabric, so school bags for example. So it's kind of like a sports tape, if I can open it there. And the good thing is that it's got a fabric texture to it. So if I show a little bit, you can sort of see fabric texture, and it's also stretchy. So it's really helpful to cover up school bags. So if we've got 30 or so extras and they're bringing in their own school bags for a scene, I can quickly go around and go, hey guys, I'm going to cover up your logos, because we don't want to see logos when we're shooting. Okay, so that's that part. So in the middle section of Bertha, I've got these things called dulling spray, and I've got a white, a black, and just a clear. So dulling spray is a specialty item that you get from a film store. Their sole purpose is pretty much to make a surface no longer glary. So it's quite helpful to have on cars. So if the side mirror is shiny, I can get in with this dulling spray and spray the mirror, and then it will sort of make it a bit more dulled, so the camera can go past it and then not being shot. But it's also good for just try to like block out if, any kind of reflections that might start to ping. So if the sun's hitting a certain area of a car or a certain area of a metal beams, and it's really bright, dulling spray can help sort of make it a bit less. It doesn't always work, but it's pretty much what that's the purpose for it. The black one's very good because you can use it for the glaring and make it a bit more muted. Clear is obviously clear, and then white is white. So white is just going to make it very obvious it's going to be sprayed white, but it's the same concept. So that's the Darling spray. Next thing I've got is this stuff called Dirty Down. So Dirty Down is really, really good for creating things that have been used or worn. It gives it a bit of texture to it. I've got a variety of colors, but these ones I've got on me at all point. So I've got things like a brown color, I've got an ash blonde, so it's like a light brown. I've got a rust color, and I've also got one called nicotine yellow. So it's very good for making a very, very quick turnaround if you need to age something. So for example, I've got my lovely thing here. I need to age mid-brown lid, so give it a little shake, and then I go. So you can sort of see the colors coming up, so it's already making it a little bit aged and worn. So that's kind of what those purposes for those guys are. And again, these are a specialty item that you would find in stores, film stores. The next thing I have on me is a matte spray, but this is for sealant. So there's a difference. You've got the Darling spray, which you can actually remove off items, whereas this one's a sealant, so it's good for picture finishes. It's quite handy to have because sometimes we might get printed a graphic and then the printing quality might be a bit too shiny paper. And if it's going in like a photo frame and it's too shiny, then I can go with this, and it's clear, so I can give it a spray and make it a bit less shiny for people. Can of air, pretty much just to get anything that's got dust all over it. Camera department uses quite a lot, but I've discovered that it's quite handy to have on me, especially because my gear gets quite dirty. This one here is a water spray. It's pretty much just spray water. So you can see a lot of makeup artists use it for sweat effects, whereas I got a really handy tip that you can use it to create like a wet glass, so something like a beer glass, and if it's been sitting there for a little bit, you can spray the bottle to make it look a bit more like moist and fresh and cool. So that's really helpful to have for like those really detailed shots. The old trusty funnel, these are really good to have on me when I'm doing anything that's food related. I can quickly, you know, fill up bottles or anything like that. It's really, really helpful to have. These guys are like a lifesaver, antibacterial wipes, but they're food grade related. So food grade wipes is really important to have, because if you're wiping surfaces down, especially if there's anything to do with cooking, or if there's anything that the actors have to like interact near their face, it's good to have food grade, because you don't want it to be poisonous pretty much. Because you can get antibacterial wipes, but they're not necessarily ones that you want to have on a surface that the actors are going to touch and interact with around their mouths. That's really, really helpful, and that's good for cleaning. COVID's pretty much taught everybody to clean things. This is really, really helpful for cleaning. So if I want to wipe down phones or just, you know, food prep stuff, then I know that that's a really good, safe one to have on me. Lovely paper towels. This is pretty much cleaning, so you can see there's a lot of cleaning going on. Another thing I've got is things like blue tack. So I've got my blue tack supply. I've got a smaller version in my toolkit on my belt, but this is good to have like as a quick, you know, refresher, or ones that might require more blue tack. I've got another thing as well called black tack, but black tack's you don't want to use that too much. Oops, sticking together. Again, specialty item. Black tack is really good at filling in holes. So for example, if you have something like a table or something that's a surface that's got like a bit of a nodule dip in there, so I can use the black tack to stick in and cover it. But you want to be a bit careful on putting things on the wall, because it can leave a little bit of residue and a stain. So if you want to do wall stuff, I'll use blue tack, but this guy's really good. It's almost like a putty. Again, another recommendation that I got from somebody. What else have I got in here? A lot of stuff. Scissors, look, they're back again. And then I've got just the old, you know, extra super glues. It's always good to make sure it's bagged up, because sometimes it might leak. More bin bags. And then I've just got oh gosh, I have to get it out. This guy, because like you, we probably got from before. I'm not very good with tools, but this is a very, very helpful thing. So it's a gauge for like screw heads and stuff. So I've got this on me because I'm not very good with tools, pretty much. I'm learning as I go. So it's one of those really helpful, like a cheat sheet. Cool, so that's the middle section. So I've just turned Bertha around to get easier access. So on the other side, so it's in 3 divisions. So on the 3rd division is Glen 20. So again, during the COVID period, we had to be really cautious about germs. So it's really good to sort of spray items at the end of the day, make sure that they dry overnight. So things like mainly fabric stuff, because any hard surfaces, I could use those other wipes. So the fabric stuff, I would spray like bags or anything like that, and I'll put that to pretty much dry overnight. In here as well, it's my lovely collection of gloves. Again, very handy to have on me because there's times where I might have to interact with something that could be really nasty, or it could be blood, fake blood, it could be food prep related. So it's just handy to have some accessible gloves on me. The other thing is this sewing kit. It's very helpful to have because I can use any of the thread or the sewing needles. If something like a bag or anything like that's broken, I can quickly stitch it up. We've got an amazing costume, bunch of costume seamstresses and people that are on set that are costume that have their own kits. I don't really want to bother them, but sometimes in dire need I might ask for their assistance. And then so that's pretty much, and then these guys are just plastic bags, so literally those kind of bags, because they're really helpful to put small little tiny props in if I need to quickly put something in there, or if there's something that I need to keep preserved for any reason. So little handy bags. Got the old cleaning tools of dustpan and broom. So many cleanups that I've had in the past for people knocking over things. I've got some work gloves. Unfortunately, these ones got soaked in WD-40, so I need to put them through the washing machine. But these are really good, like landscaping gloves, so they're really like sturdy ones to have on me. I do have a set of gloves that are on my belt, but they're just a backup pair. A bigger bottle of hand sani, and I think that's pretty much on that side. And then the last thing which I realized I forgot to say is this guy, which it's quite an interesting thing. So this one, lovely Kit Sparrows put me on. It's called a windbag, which is basically like a pumping bag. So you pump it up and put it under a door. So if I was to have to take a door off hinges and I'm by myself, which most of the time not really, but if I was in dire need, I can use this guy, pump it up, and then level the door, and then when it's all like leveled up, I can let the air out. So it's just really, really helpful to have as a backup if I'm going solo on something. And then then there's a couple of, this one's just a few stragglers, but sometimes I put a bit of cable ties in there, because you need to have cable ties on you because there's always something that you need to quickly strap down. Cool, so that's pretty much what Bertha is. It's a lot smaller amount of stuff than what Skippy had, but the purpose of it is pretty much to clean. So Skippy was all about tools and stationery, and then Bertha's all about cleaning. So it's a very quick, short one, I hope. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. So that's number 2 item of Nook.